Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to color realistic eye makeup using the Color Therapy app. In this intermediate tutorial, I'll show you how to color the inside of a pupil, how to draw eyeshadow, eyeliner, and mascara. Using an Apple Pencil is recommended, as we'll have to use precise lines. To see the final version of this drawing, make sure to check out my intermediate face makeup tutorial. I also have a beginner tutorial for full face makeup for those of you just starting out. So if you want to follow along with the same image, you can find it under the Classic tab, select People, and then you want to scroll down to Simple Hairstyles, and it's going to be the third one down. Okay, let's get started. So what I've already done here is color in the hair and also tap to fill in the face makeup, but we're going to do that on another tutorial. So right now we're just going to focus in on the eyeshadow and the inside of the eye, including the pupil. So make sure you zoom in there real good so you can see really well. And we're gonna do this in layers. So the first layer we'll do is the eyeshadow. So let's go ahead and open up the color palette. Scroll over to dark shades. Make sure it's set to solid and choose the dark brown and a medium brown. So what you wanna do is select the manual mode, and then coloring inside the lines mode is set to on. Now let's use the airbrush tool. It's gonna be the most smooth for this. So let's raise the size to about 30% as well as the opacity. Now starting with that lighter brown that we chose, we're just gonna add color right on top of the eyelid. We're just gonna brush over it, and I'm just using light pressure. And we're gonna concentrate more of the color in the corner of the eye. Now I'm gonna use that darker brown and then just kind of go over that just in the corner. So you get a little more darker color there. Now let's lower the size down to like 6% or so, and we'll leave the opacity the same. So using that dark brown, we're just gonna add in dark color right above the eyelid line and then right below the eyelid on the bottom. Now let's work on the inside of the eye. So open up the color palette again. Under the basic palette, select a black, a white, a pale yellow, and then this medium color blue. Now we're gonna select the tap to fill mode and select black and just tap to fill in the pupil of the eye. And then the iris, let's select that darker brown we had earlier from the eyeshadow and tap to fill that in. Now let's add in the detail into the pupil. Selecting the manual mode, we're still on airbrush, lower the size all the way to 0, and let's raise the opacity to about 45%. Selecting that blue, I'm gonna add in some color into the eye. So now it's kind of turning greenish, and I'm just going around the outside ring of the eye. And we're gonna do the same thing with the yellow, and this time with the yellow, go around the inside of the eye. So go around the pupil. And you can kind of go back and forth between those two colors and just begin blending them in together. So you can make some of the yellow come into the blue a little bit, like a starburst. Now to get those details of the lines inside the pupils, let's keep the size at 0 but raise the opacity to 100. Select the pencil tool and then grab black, and now we're gonna add little lines inside the eyes. So starting from the dark pupil, make little lines coming outwards like a starburst. Next, with the same settings, choose the basic white, turn the coloring inside the lines mode to off, and we're gonna add a highlight in the pupil. So make a circle in the top left area. It's gonna overlap the pupil and go into the iris. Now we wanna color the inside of the eye so it's not just a bright white. So open up the color palette. Under the basic tab, select a solid gray. It's gonna be the second gray. And just go ahead and tap to fill in the whites of the eyes so it looks a little more natural. But we also wanna add a shadow above that white area. So select black, open up the toolbox, and then you want to lower the size to about 10% and lower the opacity to about 70%. Now leaving the coloring inside the lines mode on, just begin to add a very slight shadow. And that's just going over the top inner corner of the eyes. Let's add in some color to the eye. So open up the color palette. Under basic, select the darker red, it's a burgundy under the basic palette. And then also select a skin color, a light peach skin color. So open up the toolbox and lower the size now to 0. We're still on the airbrush tool. And the opacity can be about 50%. And select that peach skin tone, color inside the lower lid of the eye, just a straight line, and that's going to be the inner eyelid. Now select that burgundy red and color a little bit of red into the far left corner and blend it into the eyelid a little bit, as well as on the right side. Now to finish the whole thing off, what you need to do is select black, lower the size to 0, and the opacity is all the way at 100. Make sure that you are definitely coloring outside of the line, so the mode is set to off, so that you can outline the black areas of the eye. So we're just going to go over the dark eyeliner here, above and below, including the eyelashes. If you want to get more detail in those eyelashes, use the pencil tool. If you want to check your progress, go under the Effects tab and you can see how much you've colored in, or if you need to add more, by removing the lines. Here's the final version of the eyeshadow, mascara, eyeliner, and pupil with the black lines removed. The key here is to zoom in closely to draw in the details and use the airbrush for the softest results. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.